Here's how to take the train in Los Angeles to the mountains, the Santa Monica Mountains, to ride your bike. So we're getting on the train with our bike, and we're going to go up the K line and then out the yellow line or the E line to 26th Street Station. And then 26th Street has a nice wide bike lane that will take you up to the mountains. And take 26th Street all the way until it dead ends at Sunset, and then take a left on Sunset. It's kind of sketchy to ride with the cars, but there is a sidewalk on the left side there, so you might want to take the sidewalk instead of riding with the cars. It's really up to you, but you head down Sunset, and you get to this double intersection, which is the corner of San Remo and Monaco Drive right there, and you're going to want to take a left and go up Monaco Drive. And if you had played it safe and ridden on the sidewalk instead of going with the cars on the street, you can go down to that light down there and cross the street over and then come back up to Monaco Drive. And this is a real quiet neighborhood. This is just masters and servants and guys on bikes riding through here. But it's a super chill, quiet ride to a super rich neighborhood. And then there is a giant traffic circle with like 5 different ways to go. So you just want to go straight through the tree. So there's a road right behind the tree that's called Monaco. And you just go straight up there, and then it's going to dead end on Casal Road there, and you're going to take a left. And from there, you're going to go down a little drop, and then look for this big white planter thingy, and then there's a sort of a ranch sign right there. And so you just take a right at the ranch sign and get onto this dirty gravel road, and you are on Sullivan Fire Road. It's almost a year after the fires last year, and you can see the plants have made it back. So there is recovery happening, at least in the plant kingdom out here, and you can look out and see the city and the bay. But that was the UFO house. You can see the houses are still pretty much the same shape they were right after the fire. Sullivan Road starts out as kind of a beat up paved road and then quickly turns into a single lane dirt road like that, but it is smooth enough if you're riding a fully rigid gravel bike to be able to handle it just fine. And then there's also a lot of side missions along the way, like little trails that you can ride off that are more difficult or take you to more secluded places, or where that guy's going to be at the top of the world. Just lots of things to do. But if you've got just a basic bike, you can still manage to get up and down it as long as you don't go off on the side trails with all the jumps. And at the end of Sullivan Fire Road, you hit Dirt Mulholland. You also get a beautiful view of the San Fernando Valley. And Dirt Mulholland is a big, wide road that's real super easy to ride. So a lot of people actually drive cars up here with their bikes and just ride Dirt Mulholland for fun and exercise. And you just can't help but go off on some of the side roads and do some little adventures and just check it out up there. When I go back, I would like to try and do something that I haven't seen before again and again and again. But this is me coming off of some unnamed side road back onto Dirt Mulholland. You can see if you were just, I saw guys with little kids riding out here on Dirt Mulholland. So if you just want an easy ride, you just drive your car up and get on Dirt Mulholland. And then this is what it looks like coming back down Sullivan Fire Road. So at the top, it's very wide and gravelly, and you have a lot more room to maneuver than you did down at the bottom. And then as I proceed down the hill, you can see here it's more of a one-lane dirt road, but there's enough room for the people to get by you if there's people coming up the other way. There are some blind corners, and you do want to listen and look and maybe ring your bell if you're coming around a corner hot. And even though it is fairly smooth at this point, I'm sure wishing I wasn't riding a fully rigid bike at this speed over these bumps. It's like running a jackhammer. And what people who sell fully rigid bikes always say is it makes you a better rider, it improves your line choice, and that's true. There's a lot of situations where you come upon rocks or ruts in there, then you really have to think about it and get around them or find your way around them versus just running over it if you're running a full suspension mountain bike. So I guess I'm building character, and then you get down to the bottom to this gate again, and after the gate, you're back on the sketchy pavement. You do want to watch out for potholes here, and sometimes there's gravel on it, so you would be careful going into blind corners on here because sometimes there's a whole bunch of rocks on top of it. And then you can take 26th Street down to the train or go down to San Vicente Boulevard and take a right turn. And it's a nice wide lane with a bike lane, and it's all downhill all the way to the beach. And you end at this beautiful photo op. And then from there, you could just head south a few blocks to Colorado Avenue and catch the end of the line of the train to get home. I decided to take the bike path home instead because the scenery is much better down here than it is on the train, I think. And also, if you're visiting Santa Monica, you have to ride the Santa Monica Loop. This is a pedestrian walkway and bikeway that they've built that loops around and then goes over a PCH up to the upper deck there on top of the cliff where Santa Monica proper is located. And in my case, I'm starving. That was a heck of a lot of effort. In fact, my Apple Watch showed me a new category that I'd never seen before called All Out. And I was definitely all out of calories, all out of food. So I went to Perry's on the beach and had the chicken salad. And that's the bike path I'm going to take home. It takes an hour on the train for me to get there. It takes about an hour and a half for me to ride my own bike home. But it's such a beautiful day. I figure fuel up, get back on the road, catch the sunset, and then try to get home before the sun goes down. Another beautiful day in California. So that helps some of you, I hope, learn how to ride your bike to the train station and then get up in the mountains and see some beautiful things. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe.